seems to me to be amazing, overwhelming, in fact. Mankind has become so wise, so self-sufficient, so self-capable that we no longer need our Creator. Hi, this is Barry Phelps with 10 Minute Torah, day 2 of Ha'azinu, which is to give ear. We are in Deuteronomy chapter 32. Let's go down to verse 3 that says, "For I proclaim the name of Yahweh, ascribe greatness to our Elohim. The rock, his work, is perfect. For all his ways are right ruling and of truth and without unrighteousness. Righteous and straight is he. A twisted and crooked generation has corrupted itself. Their blemish, they are not his children. Do you do this to Yahweh, O foolish and unwise people? Is he not your father who bought you, who created you and established you?" Rhetorical questions here, sarcastic questions even. Before we get into the comments on this text and idea, two things. First of all, thank you for those who responded last week to the request to just give me an idea of who you are and where you're listening from. And I was overwhelmed at the response, not only across this nation and in Canada, but in a variety of foreign nations to America as well. Had no idea there were so many listeners in South Africa, Australia, Malaysia. Wow, I'm amazed. And I know that there are others elsewhere that did not respond, but I thank you all for watching. Thank you all for participating in this video. Secondly, and very, very importantly, most of the world is understanding the devastation from Hurricane Helene. And I encourage your prayers for Florida, for Georgia, for North and South Carolina, for Tennessee and Kentucky and Virginia. Southwestern Virginia, Laura and I have lived there with our family at one point. It's devastating. And the thing that most people who are not accustomed to mountain lifestyle may not be aware of, once the water hits the top of the mountains and it begins to accumulate and start running downhill, the flash floods very, very quickly can overwhelm creek beds, river beds, and the water is channeled through those valleys, gullies, ravines, hollers, as we call them, and homes can be very, very quickly swept downstream, and it can happen very, very fast. So your prayers and intercessions, your support, if you can find meaningful ways to do so, is very much encouraged. And there's another storm forming and on the way. May Yah have mercy on us. Now, to what we were reading. This is spoken to Israel primarily, but it applies to all of us, no matter where we are in our lives. Yah is the rock. He is perfect in all of his ways. The word there, perfect, is tamim. It means to be whole and complete. The idea then that we are perfect outside of him is just not going to happen. It says that his ways, his derech, his chosen path, or his walk, it's that of justice, mishpat. And it's considered to be that which is judicially determined. His ways are mishpat. The thing about being just in Yah's eyes is that man does not always see it as fair. Our sense of justice is what we think is fair. Yah's sense of justice is that which is right. There can be a major difference. He is righteous, he is Sadiq, and he is Yashar, he is straight and upright. Yah is perfect in all of his estimation. And when we measure Yah according to our own measuring qualities, our own measuring stick, we evaluate him as something less than what we would desire. But that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to measure ourselves against the image, the purity, the example of Yeshua, our Messiah, who is the exact representation, Hebrews 1 says, of the Father, and perfectly so. So we have a standard to ascribe to reach for, that without him we're never going to make. But here is the foolishness of this. When we fail to measure appropriately with our Creator, when we strive but we come up so far short, sometimes we just throw up our hands in exasperation and say, why bother? It's not important. I can make him happy or I can be happy. And so we choose to please self. Then the words come to us that you have corrupted yourself and become crooked and twisted. Now think about those terms. If you're going to build some kind of construction, you go to wherever you're going to source your lumber from. And I've done this many times. You pick up the wood and you look down and you turn it from side to side, that 2x4, that 2x6, and you're trying to find one that doesn't have the curves in it or the warps. You want as straight a piece of wood as you can find. And sometimes you have to pick through quite a few that are not either damaged in some way or that are crooked, twisted. Yah, in order to build his house, is looking for those who walk uprightly, who are straight. It is when we curve or twist that we are yielding to our own devices, to our own ways, our own preferences, our own imaginations. Yah is calling on us to be a different and set apart people. To be twisted, to be crooked, to be flawed in some way is just to be mainstream everybody. Anybody can live that way. Not hard. Just get out of bed and go with what you got. And that's disastrous. It says here that because of this, that we lose our connection, our family connection. We're no longer considered his children, and we're called foolish and unwise people, forgetting our Father. Now, you would think, well, Moshe is just waxing poetic here. Well, let's go over to the book of Romans and find that there's evidence of this. In Romans chapter 1, verse 21 and following, it says, because although they knew Elohim, they did not esteem him as Elohim, nor gave thanks, but became vain in their reasonings, and their undiscerning heart was darkened. The heart is not just this physical muscle in your chest pumping your blood, but your heart is considered the center of your intellect, the center of your focus, your reasoning, your contemplation, your perceptions of things. The physical qualities of the eyes, the ears, and so forth feed this, but it is a spiritual part on the inside of us. When that becomes dark, Yeshua says, if your light is dark, how great is that darkness? So when our understanding, it's not just our brain, it's our heart, our inward motivations and meditations, contemplations, reasonings, these things, when they are darkened, we stand in darkness. And anyone who walks into a dark room without light, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to hurt yourself. And that we have done. It says here, then they're claiming to be wise in verse 22, they became fools, changed the esteem of the incorruptible Elohim into the likeness of an image of corruptible man or birds, of four-footed beasts, and reptiles. Therefore Elohim gave them up to the uncleanness and the lust of their hearts to respect their bodies among themselves. There is then those that are living a depraved lifestyle. Because we see those then that are engaged in such depravity, it is evidence that we have turned our hearts from Yah. Look around and see the devastations of things that are going on here in America and realize we got some repenting to do. We not only pray for mercy, but we're praying, oh Yah, forgive give us. Join me in that prayer and join me again tomorrow. And until then, shalom.